Have you ever wondered why, despite your efforts to be kind, loyal, and loving, some people still fail to value your presence? Many of us have experienced the heartbreak of feeling unappreciated, as if we are simply an option for others rather than a priority. But what if I told you that the way you are treated by others is, in part, a reflection of how you value yourself? In this journey, we will dive deep into timeless wisdom inspired by Buddhist teachings to unlock the secrets of becoming someone others naturally respect and cherish. These principles are not manipulative tactics but rather pathways to transform yourself from within, leading to more fulfilling and meaningful relationships. Whether you're struggling to gain the attention of someone you care about or seeking to deepen your sense of self-worth, these teachings will serve as your guide. By the end of this journey, you will not only attract love and respect from others but also cultivate a profound sense of inner peace. Let's embark on this transformative journey together, discovering the ancient secrets of Buddhist philosophy that will revolutionize your relationships and your life. Rule 1. Cultivating detachment to increase your value. The philosophy of detachment. Why letting go increases your value. In Buddhist philosophy, one of the fundamental teachings is that attachment is the root of suffering. Whether it's attachment to people, material possessions, or even ideas, the act of clinging often leads to disappointment and pain. Detachment, on the other hand, is not about becoming emotionally numb or disconnected. Instead, it's about cultivating an inner strength that allows you to let go of expectations, allowing things to unfold naturally. The essence of detachment. When it comes to relationships, people often mistake attachment for love. They believe that being constantly available, sacrificing their needs, or prioritizing someone else's desires is a sign of true affection. However, this can quickly lead to emotional burnout and resentment. True love, as taught in Buddhism, involves loving without clinging, allowing others the freedom to be themselves while maintaining your own independence. Story of Siddhartha Gautama. Before he became the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama lived a life of luxury, surrounded by everything he could ever desire. Yet, he was not truly happy. It was only after he detached himself from worldly possessions, leaving behind his family and royal life, that he began to discover true inner peace. By practicing detachment, he found that his value did not depend on external validation but on his inner wisdom. Practical applications for cultivating detachment. Daily reflection on impermanence. Spend 10 minutes each morning contemplating the impermanent nature of life. Reflect on the fact that all things, including relationships, are temporary and ever-changing. This practice helps reduce attachment and anxiety over potential loss. Mindful journaling. Write about a time when you felt overly attached to someone or something. What fears or insecurities fueled that attachment? How did it affect your sense of self-worth? Use these reflections to better understand your patterns of attachment. Personal insight. I once knew a fellow monk named Thien who was deeply attached to his teacher. When his teacher passed away, Thien was devastated. He realized that his attachment was not just to the teachings but to the presence of his master. By practicing detachment, Thien eventually found the strength to continue his spiritual journey, becoming a respected teacher himself. Benefits of practicing detachment. Emotional freedom. When you are not tied to the outcomes of your relationships, you experience a profound sense of emotional liberation. Increased value. By not being overly available or dependent on others, you become more attractive, as people are drawn to those who exude self-confidence and independence. Rule 2. The Zen art of limiting availability. The value of scarcity. Why being less available increases your worth. In Zen philosophy, the concept of scarcity increases value is key. Just as rare gems are treasured precisely because they are hard to find, your time and presence become more valuable when they are not always available. By setting boundaries, you create an air of importance around your time, which in turn makes others appreciate it more. The Buddhist teaching on mindful presence. The Buddha often spoke about the importance of being fully present in the moment. However, this presence is not about being available to everyone all the time. It's about choosing where to invest your time and energy. By limiting your availability, you ensure that when you do engage with others, you are fully present and invested in the moment. Real-life example. There was a Zen master named Hakuin who would only meet his students at specific times. When asked why he did not make himself more available, he replied, "A stream that flows continuously dries up quickly. But one that knows when to pause remains clear and refreshing." By being selective about his availability, he created an environment where his students deeply valued every moment they spent with him. Practical exercises to limit your availability. Digital boundaries. Turn off non-essential notifications and set designated times to check your messages. This helps you focus on meaningful interactions rather than being constantly distracted. Sacred time for yourself. Dedicate at least one day a week to solitude. Use this time to recharge, meditate, or engage in activities that nourish your soul. The impact of limited availability. Increased respect. People begin to appreciate your time and presence more when they know it is not easily accessible. Deeper relationships. By being less available, you create space for more meaningful connections. Rule 3. Embracing the power of mystery. The art of being mysterious. Why less is more. In Buddhism, wisdom often comes not from what is said but from what is left unsaid. The Buddha would often speak in parables, allowing his disciples to ponder and draw their own conclusions. Similarly, in relationships, being mysterious can create a deeper level of intrigue and attraction. Why being an open book can diminish your value. When you reveal everything about yourself too quickly, you leave no room for others to discover you gradually. Just as a beautiful story unfolds over time, allowing people to uncover your layers slowly makes the journey of getting to know you more rewarding. Practical techniques to cultivate mystery. Mindful silence. Practice the art of holding back in conversations. Rather than sharing every detail, leave certain things open-ended. This invites curiosity and keeps others engaged. Gradual self-disclosure. Instead of revealing everything up front, share parts of yourself slowly over time. This keeps others interested and invested in getting to know you better. Story from the monastery. A young monk once asked his master, "Why do you never reveal everything about your past?" The master replied, "The surface of the lake is clear, but its depths are known only to those who take the time to dive deeper. Let those who are truly interested discover your depths." Rule 4. The value of investment in relationships. Understanding the power of mutual investment. In Buddhist teachings, there is a deep emphasis on the principle of karma, the idea that what you put into the world comes back to you. In relationships, this translates to allowing others to invest in you, thereby increasing their appreciation and commitment. People value what they have worked for, and when someone invests time, effort, and energy into a relationship, they are more likely to cherish it. The Buddhist perspective on effort. The Buddha often spoke about the importance of effort in the Eightfold Path. Just as one must put in effort to attain enlightenment, relationships also require effort to thrive. However, it's essential to allow space for mutual effort rather than doing all the work yourself. Practical ways to encourage mutual investment. Ask for help. This might seem counterintuitive, but allowing others to help you fosters a sense of mutual investment. Whether it's seeking advice or asking for support, it strengthens bonds. Practice gratitude. When someone invests in you, express your appreciation. This encourages them to continue investing in the relationship. Real-life story. A disciple once asked the Buddha, "Why must I put in so much effort to gain wisdom?" The Buddha replied, "The tree that bears the sweetest fruit is the one that is tended with care." The same is true for relationships. What you nurture with effort will grow strong and fruitful. Rule 5. Self-care is not selfish. The middle way of self-care. balancing compassion for self and others. In Buddhist philosophy, the middle way teaches that balance is the key to a harmonious life. This principle applies not only to spiritual practice but also to how we care for ourselves. Self-care is not an act of selfishness, rather, it is essential for maintaining balance, emotional well-being, and the ability to care for others effectively. The story of the Bodhi tree. When Siddhartha Gautama was practicing extreme asceticism, he nearly starved himself in pursuit of enlightenment. However, he soon realized that self-deprivation was not the path to true peace. Instead, he embraced the middle way, which led to his enlightenment. This story serves as a powerful reminder that taking care of your own needs is not only necessary but can also be the foundation of your spiritual and emotional well-being. Practical steps to prioritize self-care. Daily meditation practice. Spend at least 15 minutes a day in meditation to center yourself and reduce stress. This practice not only calms your mind but also enhances your emotional resilience. Self-compassion exercises. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, place your hand on your heart and take a few deep breaths. Remind yourself that you deserve kindness and care just as much as anyone else. Personal story. I once met a woman named Asha who was always putting others' needs before her own. Over time, she became exhausted and resentful. After learning about the principles of self-care through Buddhist teachings, she began to prioritize her own well-being. As a result, not only did she feel more balanced, but her relationships also improved because she had more energy to give. Benefits of practicing self-care. Increased emotional resilience. Taking care of your own needs helps you cope better with life's challenges. Healthier relationships. By prioritizing yourself, you show others that you value your own worth, which in turn teaches them to respect you. Rule 6. Don't make them the center of your life. Understanding balance and non-attachment. In Buddhist philosophy, there is a fundamental teaching about the middle way, the path of moderation. Avoiding extremes of indulgence or deprivation. Applying this principle to relationships means maintaining your independence and not losing yourself by making another person the center of your universe. When you revolve entirely around someone else, you lose your own light, your own path. Instead, shine like a star, contributing your own unique light while allowing others to do the same. Why this matters? People are naturally drawn to those who have a life outside of them. If you center your entire existence around someone, you become overly dependent and risk losing your individuality. Maintaining your own passions, interests, and hobbies not only enriches your life but also makes you more attractive to others. A healthy relationship is like two trees growing side by side, each with its own roots yet intertwined in support of each other. Personal insight. In the monastery, I witnessed monks who devoted themselves entirely to serving their teachers, neglecting their own spiritual growth. They were highly respected for their devotion, yet they struggled internally. One of the most respected teachers, Master Li, often said, "The strongest tree stands tall not because it leans on others but because it has strong roots of its own." Practical exercises. Prioritize your passions. Set aside time each week to engage in activities you love. Whether it's reading, painting, hiking, or learning something new, this reminds you that your life is rich and fulfilling on its own. Daily reflection. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you did for yourself. This exercise helps you maintain balance and prevents you from losing yourself in someone else's world. Real-life example. There was once a woman named Maya, who loved her partner deeply. But over time, she made him the center of her life, abandoning her friends, interests, and even her career ambitions. When the relationship ended, she felt lost. Maya decided to turn to Buddhist teachings, learning to cultivate her own happiness and interests. By focusing on herself, she not only found new passions but also attracted healthier relationships based on mutual respect. Rule 7. Stop always initiating conversations. The art of balance in communication. In Buddhism, Balance is a key principle. The idea is not to force things but to allow them to unfold naturally. When you're always the one initiating conversations or reaching out, it creates an imbalance in the relationship. This can lead to feelings of one-sidedness, where the other person may begin to take you for granted. The wisdom of mindful waiting. Think of yourself as a lighthouse, standing strong and steady. Ships find their way by your light, but you don't move towards them. Similarly, allow others to reach out to you. This practice doesn't mean playing games, rather, it is about cultivating a balance that shows mutual interest and effort. Story from the monastery. A young monk named Cato was known for always trying to impress his teacher by constantly asking questions and seeking guidance. One day, his teacher told him, "A flower does not beg the bees to come. It simply blooms, and they are drawn to it." From that day forward, Cato learned to embrace the beauty of silence and presence, allowing others to seek him when they needed his wisdom. Practical exercises. Pause before replying. If you always find yourself being the first to text or call, take a step back. Give others the opportunity to reach out to you. Mindful communication. During conversations, focus on truly listening rather than constantly steering the dialogue. This will help create a deeper connection. Application in daily life. Next time you feel the urge to send the first message, take a deep breath and wait. Observe how others respond when they are given space to approach you. This practice not only fosters healthier relationships but also teaches patience and self-restraint. Rule 8. Create your own happiness. True happiness comes from within. In Buddhist philosophy, one of the core teachings is that happiness is not something found outside of oneself. We often fall into the trap of thinking that another person will complete us, or that their presence in our lives will bring us joy. The truth, however, is that happiness is an internal state, cultivated through self-awareness, gratitude, and inner peace. The story of the Bodhi tree. The Buddha achieved enlightenment under the Bodhi tree not by seeking external validation but by turning inward. He discovered that true bliss comes from understanding the mind, releasing attachments, and embracing the present moment. Practical exercises for self-happiness. Gratitude journal. Every morning, write down 3 things you are grateful for. This practice helps shift your focus from what you lack to the abundance already present in your life. Solo adventures. Plan a day to explore a new place, try a new hobby, or simply enjoy a quiet afternoon with a book. Learning to enjoy your own company is one of the most liberating experiences. Personal insight. When I was younger, I used to believe that happiness was something that came from achievements or the approval of others. However, through years of meditation and self-reflection, I realized that the source of true joy was already within me. By focusing on nurturing my own inner world, I began to attract healthier and more fulfilling relationships. Rule 9. Be willing to walk away. The power of letting go. One of the most challenging yet liberating principles in Buddhist philosophy is the concept of impermanence, anicca. Everything in life is temporary, and clinging to what no longer serves you only causes suffering. Sometimes, the most compassionate thing you can do for yourself is to walk away from situations, relationships, or environments that do not honor your worth. Story of Siddhartha. Before becoming the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama left his life of luxury to seek enlightenment. He understood that clinging to a life that no longer aligned with his purpose was holding him back. His willingness to let go led him to discover the path to inner peace. Exercises to cultivate detachment. Boundary setting. Reflect on your current relationships. Are there any that drain your energy or make you feel unappreciated? Practice setting boundaries to protect your well-being. Meditation on impermanence. Spend 10 minutes visualizing something you are attached to slowly dissolving into the air. This exercise helps you practice non-attachment and prepares you to let go when necessary. Real-life example. I once had a close friend who continuously took advantage of my kindness. For years, I tolerated it out of fear of losing the friendship. But after deep introspection, I realized that holding onto this relationship was causing me more harm than good. Once I walked away, I found not only peace but also open space for healthier connections. Rule 10. Don't get emotionally attached. Emotional balance is key. In Buddhism, emotional attachment is seen as one of the sources of suffering. It is natural to feel emotions. But when we allow them to control us, we lose our inner peace. Instead, we should aim for equanimity, a state of calmness and emotional stability. The parable of the river. A young monk asked his master, "How can I stop the pain of attachment?" The master took him to a river and asked him to grab the flowing water. The more the monk grasped, the more it slipped through his fingers. The master then said, "To hold on is to suffer. To let flow is to find peace." Practical steps for emotional detachment. Mindful observation. The next time you feel overwhelmed by emotions, take a step back and observe them as if you were watching a river flow. This practice, known as noting in Vipassana meditation, helps you detach from the emotional turmoil. Breath awareness. Focus on your breathing whenever you feel emotionally triggered. This anchors you to the present moment and helps you regain control over your mind. Application in relationships. Learning to love without attachment means appreciating people for who they are, without trying to control or possess them. It is the freedom to let them be themselves, while also honoring your own emotional boundaries. Conclusion. Applying Buddhist wisdom to modern life. As we conclude this journey, remember that these principles are not about controlling others but about transforming yourself. By practicing detachment, cultivating self-worth, and embracing the impermanent nature of life, you will find that love and respect naturally flow toward you. Like a lotus flower rising above muddy waters, you will bloom in grace, untouched by the chaos around you. Remember, your journey to becoming a person of value begins with a single step. Embrace these teachings, live them, and watch how they transform your relationships and your life.